Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Grim the Knight here, back at it with another video. We're gonna be streaming, not streaming. It's because I streamed earlier. We're gonna be performance testing Control because Control Resonance is gonna be coming out, and I'm curious on performance for this one since I've never actually played it, and I'm gonna be streaming it. But I did play a little bit to get to another area. I went through a little bit of shooting, some combat. There wasn't a big difference in performance, but I want to have something to compare to when Control Resonant comes out, so we can compare those and see how optimized that one is, because this game doesn't look bad. This game is fairly old, and the ray tracing not that different. This is actually my second time recording this, if I'm being honest, for full transparency. I forgot to record audio, so I'm redoing it. And let me go ahead and get Afterburner ready, and then we'll go through the settings, and then we'll start benchmarking. So let's go. All right, so we have 1080p running DLSS DLAA, native VSync is off. It does seem like the sort of pause menu is capped to 144, which is the VSync, but I don't know. It just does that. We're at medium settings. We'll do medium first, and then we'll max everything out and just see what happens. And pray for the best. Ray tracing is off. All right. So let's see how it's performing. As you can see, this game actually has a frame cap at 240 FPS. And I know that because it gets to 240, it goes over. And when I did the first test that I messed up, I lowered everything and it was still only hitting 240. Now again, that could also just be a limitation for my CPU. My CPU just happens to land at 240 because I am running a 9700X. I don't have a 9800X 3D. And a 5070 Ti with 32 gigabytes of RAM. 1% lows. I mean, they're still over 100. You could definitely play this game. At 240 hertz, you would saturate your monitor. I would... I mean, I could play like this. It wouldn't be a problem. Even though the 1% lows are like around half of the average. Frame rate or frame time is actually still pretty smooth. But let's go ahead and max everything out at 1080p and see what happens. Alright. So we are still at 1080p native. Everything's maxed out. Ultra. Not low. Ultra. As far as I can tell, Ultra does max out all of this. Medium, volumetric lighting is still Ultra. I'm not really sure what this is. Requires graphics processing. So I guess you could turn this off if you wanted to. MSAA, we'll put it 4 times. And ray tracing is all on, maxed out for the samples count. And right away, dropped almost 4 times. We're like at a fourth of the frame rate that we were getting before. But we are definitely still around that 60 FPS mark. Our VRAM usage is up to 9.5 FPS. 9.5 FPS, 9.5 gigabytes. The game does look fine. Sorry. Let's go ahead and switch to 1440p. We'll test that out. We're still over 60 at 1440p. I'm obviously, once we max everything out, it'll be under 60 FPS, and then we'll see what it takes to get over 60 FPS. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so we're at 1440p native. Everything's medium at for settings. Medium. Ray tracing off. Again, if you hadn't noticed, ray tracing didn't look that different in 1080p when I max it out. Again, that could be different in different scenes. I just haven't made it far into the game, so I couldn't really say. But let's go ahead and see where we're at now. All right. And again, as you can see, this is why I said the game is frame capped. Even at 1440p medium settings, we were hitting the cap of 240 FPS. And our 1% lows are about the same at 1080p medium. So performance-wise, this game performs pretty much exactly the same. And as you can see now, we're definitely not really CPU bound like we were before. Again, if you look at the VRAM though, we are over 8 gigabytes, so 8 gigabyte cards will have to sacrifice a bit more. But yeah, performance to this 1440p medium is pretty much identical to 1080p medium settings. At least with this setup. So let's go ahead and max things out, because this is where there can be a bit of a difference with this game. All right, so here we are, still at 1440p native, ultra everything, ultra ray tracing, 4 times MSAA, ray tracing counts maxed out to 8. Resume game, and here we are. Also, if you look at our VRAM, we've jumped over 10 gigabytes. Actually going into 11 gigabytes. We're just like right on the cusp. We are definitely GPU bound at this point. Hitting the 300 watt. And as you can see, we are not over 60 FPS anymore, even at these settings. But it's not as bad as you would think when we dropped from 1080p, or when we rose from 1080p to 1440p. There's only a 20 frame difference, which is about what, 33% change in performance, which sounds like a lot, but like at these settings, like, and at these lower frame rates, it's not that crazy, to be honest. Now, to get over 60 FPS, or at least hit 60 FPS, let's go ahead and... so what I've noticed, you can't go down to 1080p for the render resolution. So, bam. You would have to turn off DLSS and click 1080p to hit that. And what I will say is that, as you can see, we are using more VRAM just from doing that. And it looks incredibly worse not using DLSS. Everything's very blurry, but we are hitting over 60 FPS. Even on the 1% lows, we are around 60 FPS. You know, like 55. We're in mid 50s. But we are over 60 FPS. I wouldn't play like this because it looks horrible. It's like if I put baking sheet paper just on my screen. So even though it is a lower rendering resolution, using DLSS 960 right there, everything's still maxed out, by the way. VRAM usage has dropped about 2 gigabytes using DLSS, which makes sense because you're rendering it at an even lower resolution than 1080p. But everything's sharper, looks great, it's clear, doesn't look like trash, and you're hitting maybe 5 to 10 FPS more using this settings. And this is how I would run it if I was just trying to hit 60. But honestly, because ray tracing doesn't look that different in this game, how I would probably run this is just turn off ray tracing. MSAA, I actually didn't have that at 4 times. Do you think that would actually change anything? Most likely. And not really. It's about the same. Maybe actually gained a couple FPS, but doing that, it looks blurry. Alright, so the way I would run these settings, first of all, go back to native. Custom, turn off ray tracing. That alone will give you a lot more FPS. Like right away. And it doesn't look that different. I chose this spot specifically because of the lighting. And honestly, it looks fine. We're over 100 FPS. Now, just if, in case you wanted to saturate your monitor, if you have 144 hertz, you could keep most of the settings. The main thing I would change is just change from ultra to high. High there. Everything, MSSA goes back to off. And now I have saturated my monitor. So I could go here, keep everything smooth by turning on VSync. Alright. And hitting 144 hertz. Everything's good. Everything looks nice. High doesn't look that different from ultra. And you're running fine. Everything's Gucci. This table has to go back to IKEA. And it's running smooth. 1% lows are dropping a little bit under 100. But honestly, I think you'd be fine for most of the game, probably playing like this. This table is off balance. Send it back. And yeah, I think that will do it for this test. When Control Resonant comes out, we'll do a test on that. We'll see how that performs. Hopefully just as well. It'll probably look different because, you know, newer games have better ray tracing, so that will probably be a change. So yeah. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more content from me like this, make sure to hit the bell to get notified when I upload. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Any recommendations for games you want me to test out, leave those down in the comments as well. And I will see you in the next video. All right. Peace.